Dear virtual visitors, welcome to Talbot House, the legendary soldiers' club of the Great War here in Flanders Fields. I'm Simon, one of the storytellers here at the club, and sadly today only joined by Reverend Tubby Clayton, the founding father of the house. Even our house cat Benja has taken a holiday today. Due to this whiff of corona, Talbot House was forced to close its doors for the first time since the Second World War. A very sad occasion, as the house is far more than a living museum or guest house. It is a home from home for us. This leaves us with yet another problem. No visitors, no residents, no income. Still, the usual maintenance costs are there, and our new permanent exhibition, which is near completion, still has to be paid for. To kill two birds with one stone, we are reopening Talbot House online, bringing you live from the house some remarkable Tales of Talbot House from our new exhibition. In return, we hope you too will dig deep in your pockets to help to keep this authentic soldiers club afloat. Talbot Housens back then were legendary scroungers, so hopefully by donating you become one of them. Join our membership scheme today and get invites to all sorts of events, free entry on the site throughout the year, reductions of all sorts, and basically become part of the family. We owe to those brave men behind us on the wall here to keep their stories alive and provide a warm home still today on the Western Front. Cheers. So here we go with our first story. Hannah, protégée of Talbot House. Hannah Elizabeth Mitchell was born on the 10th of October 1914 at Stepney, London. Hannah's father had always had a weak health. He'd enlisted in the King's Own Scottish Borderers and served in the Boer War, aged just 16. He'd been called up as a reservist in 1914 and went to France. He was invalided in 1915 but returned to the front and was wounded and gassed at Ypres that summer. He was discharged as unfit for further service by October 15. He found employment as a gardener on his return in the hopes that this would improve his health, but he contracted consumption and died. Hannah hence lived together with her mother, Hannah Rosina Mitchell, aged 32, in Stepney. As her mother needed a wage to survive, this meant there would be no one home to look after Hannah. Her relatives were unable to help, having families of their own to support and in most cases, husbands serving at the front. Application was made to take Hannah into the care of the Waifs and Strays Society, a charitable organization that took care of hundreds of children, especially those fighting at the front. 3 years old Hannah, away from her mother, was accepted into the care of the society on the 22nd of February 1917, when she was admitted to the St. Elizabeth Receiving Home. Hannah was described as being a particularly strong, healthy, well-developed child, a very affectionate, happy little girl. Soon after the Waifs and Strays Society was selected as a Talbot House charity, the house offered to raise £15 per annum towards the support of Hannah. For more than 3 years, the house collected more than the annual maintenance towards an adopted child. The little girl, who none of them had ever seen before, was the object of most affectionate solicitude amongst small and great. Tubby reports, the military police in the prison at Ypres collected eagerly on her behalf, even during the exceedingly rough period of April 1917. Major Harry Jago, TSO MC of the 2nd Devons, asked anxiously for her in his last letter before his death. One Lancashire lad, than whom no more loyal friend could be met with, told me for 3 Sundays in succession how his officer was giving a prize for the best kept mules. And it was not until one night when he came in triumph and laid the prize money in my hand for the little girl that I knew the secret of his ambition. Yet another, having lost his sole chance of leave through its closing down for the fighting time ahead, paid in the 100 francs which he had saved to spend at home. If any endowment ever carried blessing with it, Hannah Mitchell was blessed indeed. Tubby was able to write a cheque to the society on the 9th of April 1917 for £22. The following year, 8th of April 1918, right before the spring offensive, Tubby received another letter from Mr. Rudolph. Hannah Mitchell, who was supported by Talbot House last year, is still in the care of this society. And I must leave it to you as whether you think the men would prefer to assist again with her support. For both these cases we shall need considerable support as the cost of living has so greatly increased. It's exceedingly good of you to take such an interest in the society, and I remember very well the handsome sum which you were able to send us last year as a result of all your efforts. You'll realise that in these times the charitable public has so many claims upon them. It's difficult for us to obtain a new audience. With grateful thanks for all your personal efforts. Subsequently, Tubby put up the following notice. Every Lent, Talbot House has collected a considerable sum for the Waifs and Strays Society. Last year we set ourselves the ambitious task of adopting a child, Hannah by name, aged 3, and paying for her maintenance under the excellent care of the Society. The result was splendid. More than £20 was raised here, another 2 in the prison at Ypres. This Lent the Society have asked us to undertake her maintenance for another 12 months. This will mean a big effort and widespread sympathy and self. The vein of copper is more difficult to work than it was a year ago, and that of silver is almost beyond reach. But if everyone helps who can, we shall do it. Collection boxes will be placed in various parts of the house and may gladly be had on application for the various messes in the neighborhood. All church collections will go to the same object until Easter. Already donations of 20 francs from the Honourable Artillery Company and 1 franc from the Signals have come in before this notice is posted. Remember, what I spent I lost, what I gave I have. The case paper about Hannah may be seen in the chaplain's room. Her father was a monk's man, invalided out of the King's Own Scottish Borderers in 16, who died of consumption. Signed, PBC. And in the end it worked. Another notice. Hannah Mitchell is safely provided during another year. The old house has raised altogether £16 and 1 shilling, to which Little Talbot House added another £6 from Wipers. For the information to the casual visitor, it must be explained that the child is the adopted daughter of Talbot House, which guarantees to pay £22 for her maintenance annually to the Waifs and Strays Society. This year, owing to the conditions and changes of depletion, the task looked well nigh beyond our reasonable hopes. But thanks to the real sacrifice of several true Talbot Houseians, it's faithfully accomplished. Laus Deo. Signed, April 2nd, 1918, P.B. Clayton, Chaplain, Talbot House. In 1932, Sebby sent to the Waifs and Strays Society a relic from the former notice board, asking what had become of the little girl who had meant so much to them in those days back then in the salient. It turns out that soon after she was received by the society, she was boarded up with a lovely couple in a country village who recently had lost their own daughter. The report read as follows. The foster parents love this little girl like their own child, and she's really been helping to fill the sad blank in their lives because of the death of their only daughter just 5 months before this little one was sent to them. When H was about 12 years old, she was legally adopted by these same foster parents, and the following letter was received just a month later. H is now grown up, is very tall and an affectionate nature bright, quick, most intelligent, and is a great lover of all things beautiful. She is also much interested in her church and foreign missions and belongs to an association for corresponding with children in the colonies. And she has sent me a wonderful letter to read from girls in New Zealand. Pen friends, she calls them. She's a thoroughly happy girl and a very charming one, and her adopted parents are as devoted as ever. A photo of Hannah can be found in our new permanent exhibition. Her story will go on the new tablet shortly. Please show us your solidarity as the Talbot Houseians did before you, and support the house in these perilous times. Go to GoFundMe and give what you can in the spirit of the house. Don't forget to tune in for another Tale of Talbot House soon. Thank you, and stay safe.